So I felt like dogs and drinks and warmth and coziness and everything that's great about a pub plus dogs. What's better than that? Strangers with Kittens. Gen X stories from the least parented generation. Hi, I'm Eileen Kelly. Welcome to Strangers with Kittens. I'm really glad you're here. I've been really thinking about what I wanted to talk about this week. And for anyone that has a creative job, you know that the more you force it, the less it comes, that you need to get up, get out, do other things. I've been trying to do that. Nothing was really coming to me. But I kept having this recurring thought, which was about work and what's next. And then it occurred to me that I'll bet there are a lot of people our age who are having these same thoughts. I have a friend who was laid off about a year ago, and they are trying to figure out what's next. The industry that they're in, advertising, is, I don't want to say dying, but a lot of it has moved over to pharmaceuticals, and AI is having a huge impact on the industry and really reducing the amount of human beings that are employed by advertising agencies. And big agencies swallowed up little agencies, and it's just not what it used to be. And I know that the Mad Men days have been over for quite a while, but it's just a whole different ball game now, and it's not a very fun ball game. So after many months of trying to get another position in that industry, which had evolved into something that she didn't enjoy, I think I may have convinced her to look elsewhere. I hope. I just kind of felt like, why are you trying to climb onto a ship that's sinking? And for anyone that's in advertising, I don't mean to be a downer, and maybe you have a spectacular job that isn't going away and isn't threatened, and I'm very happy for you if that's the case. But there are certain industries that feel like they're headed in a bad direction, and if it's the love of your life and you're doing what you want to be doing, then by all means fight for it and evolve with it any way you can. But if it's become something that you don't even recognize anymore, and when you were employed, you weren't happy, why try to keep going back to that same thing? And I have another friend who was laid off, I don't know, a few months ago, too young to retire, too seasoned to take just anything. And it's a tough place to be in. And this is where we are as Gen X. And ageism is real. And our priorities are different than someone who's in their 20s or 30s. And this all affects where we go from here. So having a lot of friends who have been in this position, and I too am sort of figuring out what's my next step, where do I want to be. I was having various conversations with friends about, okay, forget about the career path you started down in your 20s. Forget about what you majored in college, right? Because I feel like for Gen X, what we thought we were going to do when we were in school versus what we ended up doing, coming out to a really tough job market in the early 90s, or if you were the late 90s. And maybe you had it good for a couple years, and then the tech bubble burst. What was that called? The dot-com bubble, which they're talking about now, not to be, God, I feel like I'm just a major bummer left, right, and center. But today on NPR, they were talking about how the International Monetary Fund is concerned about the AI bubble right now, and that more than a third of the U.S. stock market is AI stocks. It might not be open AI, but it's chips and various things that depend on AI and are propped up by AI, perhaps too propped up with nothing behind it. So that's concerning. If you have your retirement fund heavily leaning toward those types of tech stocks, you might want to diversify a little bit into something that's a little more old fashioned or just nuts and bolts kind of stuff. But I digress. Oh, forget about the career path you were on. I mean, if that's not something that still floats your boat, what makes you happy? And it's hard to connect the dots between what's going to make money and what makes you happy, right? I mean, that's like the age old riddle that most of us didn't solve. So I was talking to this one friend about advertising and about what environment makes you happy or at least doesn't make you unhappy. I remember meeting a woman who was, I don't know, maybe 60 at the time. This was 5 or 6 years ago. And she had a plant store in my town. It had opened up and it was enchanting. And I started talking to her and I asked her if she had always been into plants. And she said, no, she was on a completely different career path and she got laid off. And she thought to herself, plants make me happy. She wasn't a horticulturist. She wasn't a florist. She just thought, I like plants. I like being around plants. I'm going to take my, I guess, she had a package and open up a store. And she did. And she learned as she went, which was really brave. But I think she kind of just felt like, I don't know who said this. It's one of my favorite quotes, but jump in the net will appear. It's a perfect example of that. Jump in the net will appear. And she did it for a few years and she liked it. And she ended up selling it to someone, I hope at a profit. I think at a profit because it was thriving. She just wasn't into it anymore. And that's what I want to remind us all, myself included, is that we don't have to stay the person that we've been for decades. We don't have to stay the person that our family designated us to be. We don't have to stay the person that our job said that we were. This sort of pigeonhole of you're this person, you take care of these things, we turn to you for this. I mean, that's fine, that's great, until it's not anymore. And either we grow out of it or we grow sideways or we're just not into it. And we need to be okay with that. We need to pivot. We need to say, this is only one aspect of me. A few weeks ago, I talked about just wanting to have more fun this summer. I wanted to bring more joy into my life. And I was at my niece's wedding this weekend and it was so much fun. The band was stellar, like best wedding band I have ever experienced. They never stopped. There was no break. I missed dessert. I never saw it. It came and went and I was unaware. So many members of the band sang, including the drummer, and they would go from playing The Killers to Whitney Houston to Paul Simon to Smokey Robinson. It was fantastic and you never knew what was going to pop up. And there was another guest that I didn't know before who he and I were, he was right there dancing like crazy. And we were so excited to figure out, like you'd hear notes start and you'd try to figure out what the next song was. And that feeling of just, I don't know what's next was thrilling. And I want to try to carry that feeling into life. That feeling that we had when we were younger, especially growing up Gen X, when you really didn't know what was next because you were so on your own and you were figuring it out. It was thrilling. I mean, sometimes it didn't go well. Sometimes it was fantastic. Our lives were so unpredictable. There's a moment in Class Action Park, I think it's called, the documentary about Action Park that's absolutely fantastic, where one of the main guys who talks about just like a guy from Jersey who talks about Action Park, says, you'd get back on a Monday in high school and you'd turn around to the person behind you in English class and be like, what'd you do this weekend? And I'm certain I won't get it exactly right, but he said, it would be like, oh, I went to my grandmother's house. What'd you do? Oh, I went to Action Park and busted up my arm, and, the kid might be in a sling now or whatever. What'd you do? Oh, a bunch of us explored a vacant psychiatric hospital, and then we got chased by a bunch of skinheads. Okay. That was Gen X life, right? You didn't know how it was going to go. And none of it was all like, yeah, we've all been in all of those situations. But that unpredictability and that what's next and being excited about it. I mean, granted, a dance floor, the stakes aren't as high as life, but I just thought I want to get that back, that feeling of what's next, and not, oh God, what's next? Like the dread of it and the fear and the holding on so tightly to what is currently my situation. But what's next? What's the next song? Is it The Killers? Is it Whitney Houston? Is it You Can Call Me Al? What is it? I want to hang on to that feeling. Not to mention, I want more dancing and music in my life. I know I say it constantly, but find a dance party near you. Sign up for it. Buy the ticket. It's going to be at least a month out. Just buy the ticket. Buy a couple of tickets and find someone to go with and make them go with you. We sit in our house and we're streaming House of the Dragon or whatever, and that's got its place. I mean, I'm currently hooked on Paradiso on Masterpiece Theater. It's an Italian series, subtitled, and it's pretty fantastic. I mean, if I'm being honest, it's kind of General Hospital circa 1986. Meets Mad Men. I don't know. It's very stylized. It takes place in the 50s in Italy. But at a department store, it's pretty lovely, and it's soapy enough to keep you needing to see the next episode. So that aspect of it is dangerous, but it's pretty delightful. So if you're looking for something to get hooked on, Amazon Prime, Masterpiece Theater subscription, Paradiso. But I'm trying to get you to not stream so much stuff. So back to what I was saying. That's our comfort zone, and it's really easy to fall back into that because we were TV kids, because with COVID, we all got used to streaming, because a whole season is available at once so you can binge watch. And it's a little uncomfortable having a new experience, not knowing what to expect. We're at an age where we know what to expect most of the time. And there's a certain comfort in that, but there's no thrill. We need a little thrill. We need unpredictability. We need anticipation. We've heard every song that comes up on Light FM. We know some of the new songs that are out now. We know our playlists. We've seen most of the movies. There's not a lot of newness. So what can we find that's new? And feel like, ooh, what's next? That feeling of anticipation, that feeling of excitement. It's scary to have your job in jeopardy or lose it, be in an industry that's drying up, changing so much that you can't change with it, or you don't want to change with it. So what's next? Maybe you've been in the Whitney Houston, I Want to Dance with Somebody song for too long, and you're ready for some Killers. You're ready for some Dua Lipa. You're ready for some You Can Call Me Al. But that feeling of, I'm going to make a hard left. I don't know where it's going to lead, but I'm excited to see. That's what I want to get back because I feel like I've lost it and it bums me out. I don't know if it's just me or if it's this age, this time. I want to feel excited, not in an artificial way, in a genuine way. I had this idea that I pitched to my friend who lost his job a while back, opening up a dog pub. I thought, what a great way for people to socialize, especially younger people who were really affected by COVID socially and have social anxiety. And they could just go to this pub, meet people that have dogs and bring their dog. You don't have to talk to anybody. You can hang out with your dog. Or you could go up to somebody cute and say, oh my God, I love your dog. Can I pet him? And the next thing you know, you're in a conversation. I mean, what's better than dogs? They're fantastic. We don't deserve them. So I felt like dogs and drinks and warmth and coziness and everything that's great about a pub plus dogs. What's better than that? But then I looked up a bunch of like Board of Health rules and it seems impossible unless you live in a all year round warm weather climate where you can have an outdoor area for people to socialize. Like you can't seem to, at least in New Jersey, have an indoor, warm, cozy kind of Irish pub with dogs. So that's a bummer. But that's way off the beaten path of anything I've ever done. And I was pretty excited about it. I was pretty bummed when it didn't work out, but it felt good to be excited about something. And it was so different. Like, why not? That feeling of just being a kid and being like, let's try it. I'm going to turn my bike upside down and pour dirt through the spokes as I spin the wheel. And let's see what kind of sound it makes and what happens. It was like that kind of feeling. Remember doing that? I'm going to put playing cards in the spokes of my bike and see what it looks like and see what kind of sound it makes. I want that feeling back again. And I want that feeling for all of my peers who are going through job transitions that are really scary. I want us to create something that makes us happy and also, supports us. I just feel like there's so much bearing down on us right now in the world of politics and in the world of commerce and the tech and the stock market, the economy, the uncertainty, the stress, the kids in college and you got to pay for it, the aging parents. There's so much bearing down on us at this age. And I feel like we have more responsibility now. I recently read an article where the writer cited another article that referred to Gen X as the wrong time, wrong place generation. I had never heard that before. Wrong time, wrong place. Just our timing has been bad. It was bad to be a little kid when there was no daycare, no aftercare, no anything, but no parents at home. It was bad to be looking for a job in the early 90s. It was challenging to be growing up as a little kid when you needed Andy Warhol and Cyndi Lauper to remind parents that they had children. It was challenging to be a teenager entering adulthood with HIV and AIDS and seeing messages that sex kills and everything about safe sex and say no to drugs and everything was perilous and missing kids were on milk cartons when we were younger. Then it was sex kills you just when you're starting to have relationships. Then it was good luck finding a job. The economy is terrible. And by the way, all through this, crime is at an all-time high. And now we are parents, a lot of us, at a time when college is so exorbitantly expensive. Inflation on college has outpaced everything. Everything. Salaries, by far. Everything. Trying to pay for college, trying to take care of aging parents. My parents passed a long time ago, but I know a lot of people dealing with that and trying to figure that out. At a time when physically we're tired. We're tired. This is not the time to hand us the baton and say, you got to make up all the time from the other runners and win the race for our relay team. We're tired. We've been working our whole lives, and now our hormones are wonky, both men and women, and we're tired. We have more bearing down on us than anyone else. So when I read that moniker, wrong place, wrong time generation, I was like, At first, it made me bristle a little bit. I was like, hey, what do you mean? And then I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? You might be onto something. Our timing has been challenging. I just hope that we keep rising to the occasion in the way that Gen X does, in the unsung hero way that Gen X has always risen to the occasion, and that we don't forget to take care of ourselves, and we keep finding the fun, and we keep looking for the unexpected, and that feeling of, we might not have the most in our retirement account. We might not be as rich as boomers. We might not be as in touch with our feelings as millennials, which we could do an episode on that, because how in touch do you have to be? But I do think that we've just had adversity after adversity after adversity thrown at us as a generation, and we just keep dancing. No matter what, we just keep dancing. And people can say that we're slackers or losers or whatever, but we're still here. We're still hustling. We're taking care of everybody. We somehow get no credit for it, but we're awesome as a generation. I mean, we really are the best generation. We really are. But we're the only ones that know it. It's like our secret club. So keep on keeping on, and I'll see you next week. Thanks for listening. If you like the show, please rate, review, and share on social media. Strangers with Kittens contains nothing artificial. It's certified human. Produced by Ashley Aker, music by Chris Hajian, and recorded in front of a live audience of dogs.